Feel my Blackenstein, meet my libido. She's such a psycho. Hi there, Terence McGuana here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to look at Blackenstein from 1973. Dr. Winifred Walker is called to Los Angeles to aid Dr. Stein in his DNA experiments. He soon learns of Winifred's fiancé, Eddie, who lost both arms and legs serving in the Vietnam War. Lab technician Malcolm has his amorous advances rejected by Winifred and acts out his jealousy of Eddie by sabotaging the experiments and causing Eddie to be transformed into a cannibalistic monstrosity. This movie was recommended to me by Basic Autumnween Queen, whose channel is a spooky delight. If you thought Halloween was only for one day of the year, then think again. This lady has concocted one of the most entertaining channels I've seen in ages. She does film reviews, unboxings, commentaries, and keeps the Halloween party going. Her commentary on Joe Dante's The Howling is a video that I've watched over 20 times. I'll leave a link at the bottom of the video and in the comments, so please go over there right away and connect to this woman. You will not regret it, I promise. Besides Blackula and its sequel, I've yet to see more of this subgenre, and the one movie that I wanted to see the least because I'd heard so many terrible things about it was this one right here, Blackenstein from 1973. So, BAQ, as much as I don't want to upset you, I had a brilliant time watching Blackenstein. Whereas Blackula escaped its low-budget trappings and became a really interesting vampire romance, Blackenstein is a schlocky piece of nonsense. It is Ed Wood on his best day. That is this film in a nutshell. Early on, when Winifred arrives at the laboratory, we're greeted with this sort of cliche da-da-da music, but she's just sitting in the lobby of this building that doesn't look creepy at all. It doesn't have that James Whale Frankenstein movie look about it whatsoever, and that just killed me. And then when she made, I really despise it in films where they have poor exposition, where a character is explaining to another character information so that the audience understands something which this character would already know. And when Winifred meets Dr. Stein, she tells him about her fiancé, he tells her about the experiments that he's carrying out. All this information that she would have been aware of through their conversations between Los Angeles and New York, that just killed me, right? It just absolutely killed me, and my sides were hurting just laughing at the poor exposition. Just this whole kind of, yeah, you already know this information, but I'm going to tell it to you so that the dumb audience can keep up with this terrible plot. This movie is not a comedy. It doesn't aim to be a comedy, but you do find yourself laughing at it. Never does this character get called Blackenstein, and he's not really a Frankenstein's monster. He's more like the $6 Million Man. It is a barrel of laughs. It's the kind of film that I would have enjoyed in my teenage days when I was smoking a lot of pot. Right, this is the kind of late night garbage that I used to enjoy watching, in the sort of trauma, Toxic Avenger kind of ilk. Last year I reviewed Frankenhooker because I'd seen that for the very first time, and I was disappointed with that because it took like an hour until we saw the Frankenhooker character. The cinematographer in that movie was more intent in photographing women's jelly mangoes than giving us this Frankenhooker monster character. That annoyed me. Whereas in Blackenstein, we get the Frankenstein's monster, the Blackenstein monster, at about 40 minutes in, and up until that point, I was very well entertained. Just the acting, the scenes, the poor dialogue, it just kept me enthralled. Every so often, the film would just sucker punch me with something just so dumb that I just burst into laughter. Right, and maybe you won't get it like I can, but I just had a really good time with Blackenstein. Really, it was a good fun film. When this Blackenstein monster, I can't believe that name, Blackenstein, it's just so ridiculous. But when he first appears, he walks about like a zombie, and he played this sort of funky riff. So I was like, yeah, excellent, we're going to get some really good funk tunes in this. It was the 3rd of September, the day I'll always remember, 'cause that was the day I met Blackenstein. But it doesn't actually have any lyrics or anything like that, but it should have. And there was a moment in it, I don't remember the singer's name, but there was a scene in a nightclub where there's this, they just stopped the movie and we're just going to have this beautiful soul song being played. I was loving that as well. I know Blackula had a moment like that where we had the Hughes Corporation, and in this they have a wee soul music bit, and I was enjoying that. That's what I like about these films from that era, and that's why I tend to call them soul cinema films as opposed to black exploitation, right? Because I hate that term, black exploitation. I'd say soul cinema because they did tend to have some amazing soundtracks with Curtis Mayfield, the Four Tops, you know, Isaac Hayes. They used to have these soul legends perform these amazing soundtracks to these films, so I tend to call them soul cinema films because I think that's a more appropriate name for them. Am I wrong? All the acting in this film is terrible. The script is just absolutely dire, right? The effects are rubbish. Whenever this Blackenstein character appears, you just laugh at him. It's just so not scary in the slightest, and with the gore, the special effects in it are awful. In no way am I criticising these filmmakers, right? Most likely they were on a microscopic budget. They got one take, no rehearsals. The actors were probably told to bring their own clothes and maybe even their own food, right? So regardless of the quality of what's on the screen here, right, I've got to take my hat off to them for getting it done, for getting that made. And at the end of the day, here we are, almost 50 years later, I'm sitting talking about Blackenstein. The film's out on Blu-ray, right? So they did something right. They did something right, and people still talk about this movie. It is a lot of fun. It is really ridiculous. I want to thank once again Basic Autumnween Queen for recommending this film to me. I had such a good time with Blackenstein, and please go over to her channel right away and like and subscribe to her amazing channel. You will not regret it, I promise you. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscription button. I'm Terence McGuana, and I'll be back with another recommendation, and I hope to see you then. Cheery bye!